To do fractional exponents, we're going to simplify each one of these fractional exponents without the use of a calculator. And to do that, let me go to this page. This is a page of things that I expect you to already know from pre-algebra and even before that. So common power or root review. You may want to pause the video and make sure you understand how to do this. You actually create it. I don't expect you to necessarily memorize this, but you should be able to create this list. And if you have questions how to create that list, come and ask. You better do that. But you are expected to know all of this. All right, to do that, to do these fractional exponents, notice it's 16 to the 1/2 power. And again, you've never done fractional exponents, so let's go over it. The denominator that you look here, the denominator is the important thing that you need to look at first. This is the same thing as 16 is the base, or what's inside. This guy right here, the denominator, is the root. Is the same as the root. So 16 to the 1/2 power is 16, and then again the denominator is the second is the root, second root of 16. So the square root of 16 would be 4. And again, you could check this. Every one of these, you could check them on a calculator. So if I take 16 to the 1/2 power, you can actually check them on the calculator. All right? But again, I want you to know how to do this without the use of a calculator. So again, you have 8 to the 1/3 power. Again, notice the denominator. This doesn't mean 8 divided by 3, and it doesn't mean 8 and 1/3. This is 8 to the 1/3 power. So the root, the denominator, is the root. So this is a cube root of 8. That's exactly what it means. And then the cube root of 8 is 2. And the reason why it's 2 is 2 cubed is 8. And again, you can check that on your calculator. The cube root of 2, the cube root of 8 is 2. So 16 to the 1/4 power. Notice again the denominator. The denominator is a 4, so that's a 4th root of 16. And so you need to find out what the 4th root of 16 is. So in other words, what to the 4th power is 16? And that's 2. 2 to the 4th is 16. 32 to the 1/5 power. Again, notice the denominator. The denominator of the exponent is the root. So we're talking about a 5th root of 32. Well, again, what to the 5th power is 32? Well, that's 2. 2 to the 5th power is 32. And again, 2 to the 5th power is 32. So that's how come I know the 5th root of 32 is 2. All right, again, the denominator is 3, so that's referring to a cube root of 27. Well, what's the cube root of 27? Well, that's 3. The denominator is a 2, so we're talking about a square root of 25. So that's 5. So again, 25 to the 1/2 power is the same thing as 5. 81 to the 1/2 power. Notice the denominator of that exponent is a 2, so that's the square root of 81. Well, the square root of 81 is 9. And again, you can check each one of these on a calculator. Let's get a little bit more involved here. Fractional exponents. Well, again, you have 16 to the 3/4 power. Remember what we just went over. The denominator is your root. The denominator is your root. We'll worry about that 3 in just a minute, but take the 4th root of that. The 4th root of 16 is 2. But notice it has a top exponent of 3. So you just cube it now. And so the answer is 8. So 16 to the 3/4 power. Let's check it. 16 to the 3/4 power is 8. So it checks out, and again, we can do this without the use of a calculator. You can actually do these quicker without the use of a calculator on many of these problems. So 25 to the 3/2 power. Well, where do you start? Well, the denominator of the exponent is the root. So this is the square root of 25. Well, we know that is 5. Well, then you take the top exponent and you cube it. So 5 cubed is 125. So 25 to the 3/2 power is the same as 125. 36 to the 3/2 power. The denominator is your root. Well, so 36, square root of 36 is 6. And then the exponent up top is 3. So 6 cubed is 216. So again, 36 to the 3/2 power is 216. 8 to the 5/3 power. Again, the denominator is 3. So we're talking about the cube root of 8. Well, what's the cube root of 8? That's 2. And then raised to that 5th power. Well, 2 to the 5th power, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 32. So 8 to the 5/3 power is 32. You can check it on a calculator. 27 to the 2/3 power. The denominator is your root. So 27, the cube root of 27 is 3. And then you have the numerator exponent is 2, so you're going to square it. So that's 9. So 27 to the 2/3 power is 9. 64 to the 2/3 power. Well, again, the denominator is 3, so we're talking about a cube root of 64. Well, what is the cube root of 64? Well, that's 4. And then you're going to take square of that because of the top exponent, so 4 squared is 16. So 64 to the 2/3 power is 16. And again, you can check it on a calculator. When you get to negative exponents, you still do the same thing. You have the denominator is your root. So this is literally the cube root of 8, which we know is 2. The top exponent is that. Well, if we write that as a positive exponent, that's 1 over 2 squared, which is 1/4. And again, you can check that. 8 to the negative 2/3. So 8 raised to the negative 2/3 power. Get your answer. It's 0.25, which is the same thing as what we got as 1/4. And if you remember, you can change that to a fraction if you need to, and it will show it as a fraction. Again, each one of these, you do the exact same way. So 16, look at the denominator. The 4th root of 16 is 2. And then the top numerator exponent is to the negative 3rd. We'll rewrite that as 1 over 2 cubed, so that's 1/8. All right, this one you have a negative on the outside, so I know the answer is going to be negative. I'm going to worry about that guy later, but let's go back to this. 25, and again, the denominator is your root. So the square root of 25 is 5. And then that's raised to the negative 5th power. So that's 1 over 5 to the 5th power. And 1 over 5 to the 5th power is 1 over 3,125. But notice there's a negative on the outside. And again, you can check that on your calculator to verify that. This one right here, 9 to the square root of that, because the square root of 9, the denominator, is 3. And then 3 to the negative 5th power. 3 to the negative 5th power, again, is the same as 1 over 3 to the 5th power. And 3 to the 5th power is 243. So 1 over 243. Again, you can check it on a calculator. This right here, sorry for being crammed here, but we have this problem here. We have a negative on the outside, so I know the answer will be negative. 27 to the cube root of 27. That, again, look at the denominator, so it's the cube root of 27, which I know is 3. Raised to the negative 2nd power, which is the same thing as 1 over 3 squared, which is 1/9. But again, there was a negative on the outside, so my answer is negative 1/9. This one right here, again, there's a negative on the outside, so I know the answer will be negative. But we'll worry about that later. So 81 to the square root of that 81, which is 9, and then 9 to the negative third power, which is 1 over 9 cubed. 1 over 9 cubed is 1 over 729. But remember, there was a negative on the outside. And again, you can verify that on your calculator. That's fractional exponents.